Okay, I did not realize I was good to go. I am so sorry, everybody. So, um, my name is Song. I was just here earlier doing Flint Son of Crimson. We had a scheduling error type thing to come up with somebody having a personal reason to not be here. So I took over, and I am here with Lila Skyark, a game that I personally routed, and I am the only runner. It is a top-down Metroidvania created by the team Monolith of Minds. They're two brothers who decided to make some video games, and they're an absolute joy. So, with this run, it's very resource heavy and it's very movement intensive. It's probably the most intense run that I do personally because of how much resources you have to maintain, such as currency, weapons, and all of that. The point of this game is to liberate 4 spirit animals, and then you're supposed to destroy a couple bosses. It's a little bit more than that, but it's kind of like the Outer Wilds, where you don't want to spoil the story because it's something I feel like everybody should experience. But with that, I am going to get into the run. So the timer is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. So I also have an in-game timer down below. This game actually comes equipped with that, which I think is really awesome. So to start out, our movement is going to be dodge rolling, and it's going to be the only movement that we really have, as this game doesn't get a jump until the last end of the game, because it's actually a power that you unlock. The items that you find on the ground are items that you can collect and also use as weapons, because you don't actually get weapons in this game. You actually have to pick up items you find on the ground to use as weapons. And they also drop currency. So there's certain items you want to break and certain items that you actually want to pick up. So as you can see, I'm picking them up and destroying certain items. So you'll also notice that there's big variety of items. I can't pick those up. I have to throw smaller items at them to break them to get currency or whatever else they drop. So right here, we're going to grab a backpack. This backpack allows me to store items that we find on the ground, so I can actually keep them with me, which is what we're going to do for the first few items we run into in this run. So what we're doing right here is this robot's called Dr. Father Sir, and we're trying to actually repair him. Oh. So once you repair him, he unlocks the gate to the forest, so we can move on to fight our first boss called the Drummer. And the Drummer, we're going to need to collect these things called Titan Eyes. We need exactly 15 of them to kill him really quick. So we're going to be on a resource mission to gather enough money and to gather enough Titan Eye. Alright, so now that we know Dr. Father Sir, we're going to collect some more items and then head into the forest. Oh, so this is a Titan Eye. That is the most important item that we need for the run. They're very rare to come by outside of actually like crafting them. So when they do drop, it's an absolute blessing. Okay, so to explain what we're going to be doing in this area is I'm going to be picking up these pots, breaking them to collect currency, but there's also going to be these things called piñatas. Just like in real life, instead of holding candy though, they hold currency. And they take 3 vases or stumps to break, and once you break, boop, okay, got ourselves some money. So there's actually a lot of buttons that I'm pressing right now. We have our dodge roll, our pickup, our put away, and our cycle that we use to cycle through the items that we have. So there's actually a lot of button management as well to make sure that you're clicking the right things at the right time. Because if you accidentally dodge roll while you have an item in your hand, you'll accidentally drop it and it breaks. So you want to make sure that you're clicking what you need to when you need to. So these eyeballs that I'm picking up, they're for an NPC later, so when we get to that point, I'll explain. But just take note that I will be picking up random eyeballs on the ground. Okay, we're going to meet our first spirit that we need to liberate, and it's the monkey. To kind of give a back story of the game, I guess, your mother passed away, so you escape into your mind to get away from the grieving. And this kind of is what's inside of Lila's mind. Just some random animals at war with music. or with people that want to destroy music, it's kind of difficult without ruining it, so once again. Okay, so what we're doing right here is that we're hitting these bells to lower down these dinosaurs, little derpy dinosaurs, so we can get across. And this is where we meet our merchant. So this crow right here is actually going to fly away and go back to the very beginning of the game. And when we go back there later, we can actually buy items from him. And one of them is actually going to be a Titanite recipe. So instead of needing to find Titanite, we can actually just craft them with the currency that we're collecting. And right here, I just turned my hair blue. Oh my god, another Titanite. When you turn your hair blue, these objects have a chance of dropping double currency. So it's always good to turn your hair blue. She actually has a few hair colors, and each hair color gives her a certain power. Okay, grab that. Oh! Okay, well that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's okay. Not that big of a deal, because those are Titanite that we found, which technically any Titanite we find is just a bonus, because we're going to be crafting anyways. But I didn't mean to throw them. That was an accident. Oh, look at that! I replaced it. It doesn't even matter. This is such a godly run right now. Holy crap. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in this area is there's going to be... Oh, okay, thank you. So... I'm getting overwhelmed with all this great RNG. So what we're going to be doing in this area is going to pick up these dung beetles because we have to move the poo lord over. I know that sounds super weird, but there's this guy that sits on a giant poo ball because he's a dung beetle, and he needs his royal rollers to move his dung ball out of the way. So we have to collect 3 of them, but before we collect all 3 of them, we're going to head into an endgame area. Technically, to grab an item that we shouldn't actually have until later. Because you wouldn't know about this unless you were at the end of the game. And the reason why is because these red doors appear, and when you enter the red doors, they give you a vision. Oh my god, the perfect RNG. Guys, you have no idea how great this is right now. So this little purple ball technically isn't supposed to move until 6 minutes and 20 seconds in, and I don't know how this happened. I don't get it. I don't know, but we just saved like 30 seconds. So absolutely insane. So what we're doing is we're supposed to follow this purple wisp to a pond, and she'll grow bigger, and she'll give us what they call the abyssal shard, and we're supposed to use that to fight an endgame boss, but we're going to use it to fight an endgame boss early. So we're going to follow her up to the lake. There we go. I'm going to break that piñata. And we're going to pick up the shard. Okay, now that we have the shard, we're going to go back over to this dung beetle. And we're going to pick him up. And we're going to make our way to the dung lord. So those little fox things that you see following me, they're fox unicorns. And they're kind of mean. They follow you and they try to slice you up with their horns. It does cost a lot of time if you're not careful. So the best strat is to actually eliminate them, but we didn't get to. That's okay. Hopefully we can get rid of this one. Nope. Okay, well, we just lost a lot of time, but that's okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's alright. We'll make up for it. We'll make up for it. It's actually not too bad because it allows us to gather more money. So dying technically isn't bad in this game. If anything, this might actually save me time in the long run because all the items respawn. And since this game is currency heavy and you don't lose any money from dying, you just keep the money you had. During the end game, when I need to buy 20 Titanite at a time, this actually might be really good. I never thought about dying to use as a strat, but okay. I guess we're just gonna make little on-the-fly strats. Okay, we're gonna collect these dung beetles again. So that's the only bad part, is because of this. I don't think... Yeah, okay. So I do have to go back for the Primordial Shard. So we did lose about a minute worth of time. Uh-oh. I really hope we did not just come across a glitch, because the wisp is not there, and that is not a good thing. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we're good. We're good. We got the Primordial Shard back. And like I said, we're not that far behind on time, which is perfectly fine. The only issue we face is these guys. Okay, let's continue on. So that's one of the beetles. We have another one right here. We'll go back for the third one, and then we'll move on. All right, now that we got the second one, we'll head back this way. But we don't have to worry about the unicorn fox anymore over here, because he did perish. And we actually have 262 currency, which is way more than I would actually have at this point. We'd only really want 200, but the 65 right there is going to allow me to craft 6 more Titanite than I would normally have at this point. Which, once again, yeah, the death was unfortunate, but I do feel like in the long run it is actually going to save us some time. So if I dodge roll in front of this beetle, it actually causes him to glitch out. If you do it just right, he actually can't push the ball, but you can still bypass. It's kind of funny. Okay, we're going to head into the drummer area, which is actually going to be the boss area, actually pretty soon. Once again, we're just collecting resources. Okay, we're into the next scene. We're going to wait for this fireball to pass by, because his hitbox is so wide that he'll actually hit you. And then we're going to heal at this shrine. Okay, as we head down, we're just going to continue to break these pots, and we're going to actually be introduced to the musical soldiers. These are actually the main bad guys of the game. They shoot musical notes at you, and some of them actually have like super long-ranged attacks that'll actually travel and transition between screens with you. Some of them have like super long leap attacks and spear attacks. So here, we're just going to throw this belt, and we're going to kind of play Ring Around the Rosie with these enemies until this dinosaur hits the ledge. And then we're going to ride it over. So this is actually the boss area, but before we actually go fight the boss, we're going to go buy a couple upgrades. So the first upgrade we're going to buy is a bigger backpack so we can hold more items. And then the other one's going to be the Titanite recipe. So we're going to head back to the farm. We're going to talk to this crow. We're going to buy the Titanite. Okay, and then the big bag. Once we're done with that, we're going to head inside Dr. Fatherser's scientific lab, and we're going to craft ourselves as many Titanite as possible for the boss fight coming up. But on our way to do that, we're also going to break a bunch of pots. See if we can get actually more currency. Once again, I wouldn't actually have this much money, which is actually really nice. All right. What's nice is even if my backpack's full and I don't have room to carry anymore, it's actually not that big of a deal. And the reason why it's not that big of a deal is because this game actually saves items on the map. So even if you leave the area and then you come back, the items will still be there for you. So we're going to manipulate this dialogue. We're going to throw the eyeball on the ground. We're going to pull another one out and pick up this present at the same time, which is going to allow us to move and throw another eyeball. And the cutscene actually is going on right now, but we're actually able to move in it and collect the money and pick up the Titanite that she gives us. Okay, and with that, we head into our first boss fight. So the first boss fight, his name is the Drummer, and he uses drums, obviously, to fight you. He also has cymbals that he'll throw at you like discs, so you have to dodge them. What we really want him to do at the beginning is use his drum kit. We don't want him to use the cymbals because they don't really have as long of an animation, and we want a long enough animation for us to get enough hits on him. One. So he uses cymbals, and that's okay. Okay, so we got him in his second phase. And he's dead. So with this game and how you attack is that you actually have to aim where you're throwing your items, and you actually have to pull it out of your backpack too. So you're managing a button that pulls them out and pulls the items out, and also managing where you're aiming at the same time. It does get kind of complicated when you're actually playing, but once you get used to it, it's actually really fun. So right here, we're going to grab this thing called the Bone Root, and the Bone Root gives us super strength. The super strength allows us to pick up items that we weren't able to pick up before, such as those big pots that you saw on the ground that I was throwing small pots at. We're actually able to pick those up now. Okay, let's pick up some more money, and let's head out. So now that we've destroyed the first boss, our next goal is going to be destroy one of the final bosses in the game really early, so we can liberate the monkey really fast. Instead of having to wait to do this, we can actually do this a lot sooner. So what we're going to do, we're going to teleport back to the farm. We're going to head back into the lab. And we're going to craft some more Titanite. But we're also going to pick up the Titanite that we didn't actually have available to us. Perfect. Okay, so we need about 13 to kill this boss. Sadly, we're not going to have 13. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to break pots and hopefully get extra items, such as this. So we can destroy him. Once again, this game is all built on RNG. So some runs are going to be better than others, which is why I chose to kind of raise the estimate a little bit longer than 55 minutes. Okay. So now we're going to head into the boss fight. So far, not bad with the items. Okay, that's really good. Alright, so with this Primordial Shard, it's going to fit in that slot, and now we fight the boss. There's actually a strat that you can do with him. It is kind of hard to pull off, but you have to wait for his pattern where he's going to come at you. Okay, we're going to wait for him to come back around again. Oh, that's actually not bad. That's actually a good thing, even though he's going a little wild. Okay, boss fight's done. So that's actually one of the final boss fights that you would do, but you can actually do it early, and as long as you have the Titanite, it actually makes it pretty trivial, which is really nice. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to increase our speed by 2 times. There's this thing called a boot with a hat, and we're going to pick up this boot with a hat recipe, and then we're going to go craft it. Alright, with that done. Also, I love how the colors in this game remind me of Hyper Light Drifter, if anybody's a fan of that game. It is so good to look at. Oh, we're going to come back here later, that's right. We'll come back here later. Okay. With all of that, we'll head back into Dr. Father Sir's laboratory. We're going to move this block. We're going to pick up this square. This square is going to allow us to activate the second to last area in the game. And it's going to be the mountains. We're going to fight one of the hardest bosses in the game called the Quartet. It's actually 4 bosses in one. But once again, we're going to abuse the Titanite to try to simplify the fight. So this is Boot with a Hat. Boot with a Hat allows you to run at Mach speeds in this game, so you can get to areas a lot quicker. But we're actually going to be using it for a specific reason. We're going to come up here. And we're going to race this cat. So these cats are actually a reference to Rain World, if anybody's... that was supposed to happen. If anyone's played Rain World. We're actually going to fight a boss called the Slug Cat God later. But right now we're going to race the imposter. So the whole point of this is we do 2 laps around this building with the boot with a hat. On the second lap, the cat actually gets really, really fast, and you can't actually beat the cat unless you have this hat. They play with you by making it seem like you can beat him by the first lap because he's moving really slow, but then he just immediately just starts going supersonic speeds. Okay, so we're almost done with this, and then we'll head into the next area. Okay, race is over. So what this does, and the reason why we do this, is this cat's going to explode, and it's going to leave a hole in the ground. That hole leads us to the cauldron, and the cauldron allows us to throw items into it to transmute them into different items. Kind of complicated, but we're going to be using it to liberate the elephant later in the game. So once again, we're just trying to collect money, because money is the most important thing. We're also just trying to survive, because these guys are just the absolute worst. Enemies will follow you off screen into new areas, so even if you can't see them, they can still transition as well. So it's just something to be wary of. Okay, so this is the elephant that we're going to be liberating. So a catch with the boot in the hat is that you can't go down ladders with it equipped, otherwise your character will actually throw it, and so you need to actually prepare yourself for ladders when you have it equipped. So this is the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is the place you don't want to be in this game. It's dark, it's spoopy, it's not where you want to be. The thing is, those two is if you're not careful, enemies do double damage down here, and right now I'm playing a very dangerous game by having 2 health. So good thing we got through there without any of the enemies touching me, otherwise it would have been another death. Okay. So now that we're here, we are inside the, I guess I have to call it the meditation village. I don't really know what else to call it. But we're going to head into this area where there's a bunch of bees. Oh, that happened. That happened. I don't know how that happened, but for some reason she just threw it straight through. So money is very important, and I will go out of my way to make sure I always get some, because late game you're going to need as many Titanite as possible. So these are bee puzzles. You're going to come across these bees that you lay inside these nests, and they lift certain objects, or they cause platforms to move for you, such as like this little elevator right here. We're going to be throwing him on 3 different platforms, and, well, I guess her, because, you know, queen. And then picking up this one, and we're going to try to manipulate our distance. Oh, and it didn't work. So the bees do kind of magnetically cling to these elevators. And what you want to do is... There we go. It looks like he's not actually on the elevator, but he actually is. And you want to be able to clip both of them on there to save yourself a little bit of time. Otherwise, you have to pick one up, go up the ladder, then lay another one down, then go back up the ladder. It's just a time-consuming process. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to go up this ladder, and I collected those 3 stumps as there's going to be another piñata, and they take 3 to break. We're going to pick up this bee and throw it onto this moving platform. Head back down, and then we're going to be using this bee to make that platform come to us. So that's the rest of the B puzzle. Now we just kind of cruise through. Alright, we are moving on into the second boss fight area. So that's another crow, and he actually does sell you items, but he doesn't sell any items that are actually useful for us. So... Alright, into the dangerous area. We have 2 bits of health. Actually, I forgot there's a save point right there. Never mind. We have more than 2 bits of health, but this is still a very dangerous area, as you have these rollers right here. These guys are going to follow me into the next area. I had a friend who wanted to speedrun this game with me, and he tried this one area right here and decided that it wasn't worth it. The RNG right now, I'm actually surprised I'm not just getting slaughtered by these guys right now, because there's 3 of them in this area. But most of the time, they just sit there and they spawn camp you when you're in this area. It's really annoying. So we're gonna get past the giant. If you get caught in the giant's hands, he'll take you back to the very beginning. So it's very wise not to get touched by that. Okay, we are at the boss fight. But just like every boss fight, there's always a kind of little intermediate area beforehand. So we're going to talk to the elephant real quick. He's going to drop down, try to give us some life advice about how we shouldn't sacrifice ourselves to stop this war, but we're going to anyways, because we're Lila. Unlike the first boss area, this one actually has kind of a gauntlet of enemies that you have to get through first. And that kind of becomes the running theme for the rest of them too, where you actually have to fight your way through them instead of just arriving directly at the boss. But we're going to try to just avoid all of the battling. And we're going to try to gather resources instead. I got really bad RNG. Not a single one of those wooden blocks dropped anything. And nothing. Yeah. So just really bad RNG right now. So we're just trying to survive until this bridge comes back. There's no point fighting them because we'd be wasting resources such as weapons. It's kind of good that these guys have really bad aim, especially if you're slightly drifting lazily to the left. Family Guy reference for anybody who watched the Star Wars stuff. Okay, so right here, I'm going to pull out the boot, and I'm actually going to drop it on the ground. Because we're not going to need it in this boss fight, and it just takes up inventory space. So I'm going to drop it. And then I'm just gonna make... Okay, I need... one more. Okay, so this is the hardest boss fight in the game. These guys have a pattern, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use 2 Titanite, 2 Titanite, 1 Titanite, and then I'm going to go to these machines, and I'm going to pray that I get much better RNG than I just got, but it's okay. So with those machines, they actually give you free items. Oh, look at that right there, Titanite. And that's exactly what we need. Okay, so... now they're going to spawn 2 at a time. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get both of these guys to attack. Perfect. Okay, the next one. Nothing. Okay, let me run over here. Get some more items. Nothing. Okay. I need to kill him while I'm on one side of the screen. Perfect. So what this is going to do, it's going to force all 4 of them to spawn in one area, allowing me to bomb them. It takes so much practice to get that down because of how their movements are. That actually went really well, and it shouldn't have gone that well. I'm very happy. They end up going to their exact locations where they were supposed to. We end up being able to manipulate their movements. With that, we get our jump ability now. This actually allows us to use a jump inside this game. But before we leave, we are actually going to try to use these vending machines for free items to save money, because farming for money is much slower than just manipulating these machines. Okay, let me throw this. Let's get 2 more goes. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, now we can leave. So we're gonna jump down. We're gonna pick up our boot with a hat. Oh, actually, I need to craft items. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go fight the cat god, and then we're gonna go liberate 2 animal spirits. So as the ship's exploding, you don't actually have a time limit, it just kinda, the effects of the ship exploding. So technically you could take time gathering more materials. Alright, second boss is down, we're under 30 minutes. And now we're gonna talk to the elephant. So after you talk to the elephant, we need to teleport. Actually, yes, we need to teleport back to the beginning. There's another route too. I still haven't figured out which one's faster, but I usually just take this teleport, so then I can get to the next boss fight really quick. So to use the jump in this game, it's kind of weird. You actually have to hold down a button and then release it once it's charged. And then you actually have to actually aim that as well. Okay, so this is the the third boss fight. Fourth, I guess now. It's really hard to keep up. The route changes all the time. Perfect. So we're gonna try to get him to spit out items for us, while also trying to dodge his psychopathic cats that want our blood. Okay, he's almost dead. We're gonna pick up these items. Perfect. Got him. So far, so good. Okay, now we have what they call the sad peanut, and we have to go make the peanut happy. If I can actually aim my jump right. So how we're going to make the peanut happy is that we're going to take it to that cauldron after we got done racing the cat with our boot with a hat. So we're going to go down this long ladder and then head into the pit that it made. And we're going to collect some money along the way so we can craft some more titanite. So we'll drop down this pit, break every jar that you see in front of you. Alright, end up getting 35. Pull out the peanut, throw it at the cauldron, which looks like the pot of greed from Yu-Gi-Oh! And then he gives you the peanut. So with this, we head back to the elephant. And then we're going to head to the monkey as well. So we'll equip our boot, we're going to run to the side of the house. All of the pots, even though we haven't died, because it's been quite a while, they should have spawned. So we'll be able to collect a little bit more money. And then we're going to head down here, equip the banana. Actually, banana. It wasn't popping up in my quick select, I don't know why. Alright, so we're going to wait for the monkey to disappear. And now we're going to teleport to the elephant. Grab the peanut. Alright, so that's 2 of the 4 animals liberated, so we are now halfway through the game. I'm actually a little bit further, but since there's 4 animals, I just consider it halfway. Alright, so what we're going to do here, we're going to go heal ourselves real quick. And now we're going to head into the final act of the game, which is the Sky Arc, which allows us to use rain mechanics and wind mechanics to help us get around. I'm not a huge fan of the wind mechanics. You'll see why. I might get a little frustrated at one of them. You have to pinpoint your jump, like, perfect accuracy, otherwise the game just, like, does not register the jump in that one area. And it is just, it's semi-frustrating. Especially if you have these pink guys. Okay, you see what I mean? That took 3 jumps. It is a little janky. And now these guys are following me off screen. So this is the pterodactyl egg. It allows you to jump further distances. The funny thing is, though, is that's the only time that we're actually going to see it. You would actually use it in other categories, but because we're doing 80%, we don't need to collect certain items, so it technically doesn't have its use. Okay. Now we're through, and we're going to meet the last animal next to the rabbit. We already went to the rabbit hole, but we didn't actually get to meet the rabbit just yet. This is the partridge. We're going to bring a worm to her later on to feed her, to liberate her soul. Alright, collect that money. And then we're going to take a little dandelion up, and we're actually going to be inside of a construction zone. In this area, there's going to be a platform puzzle and then a object puzzle that we have to complete to repair a robot. That thing with the smile on its face right there, we're going to repair that to open up a path to the north, and that's going to allow us to get to the next boss, which is called the Pianist. And as the name suggests, he uses a piano that you will have to take him down, and he is actually... If you're not careful, he's actually one of the most dangerous bosses in the game because he's technically a bullet hell boss. So he shoots a bunch of objects all over the screen that you're supposed to dodge. But because we're trying to do it fast, we don't really have time to dodge. Okay, so we got both the dinosaurs down. So both of those paths just opened up. The north path is going to lead us to the cog puzzle, and then the path to the east is going to lead us to the jumping puzzle. But before we head out, once again, we're going to abuse this for items for the next boss. Okay, that was crazy RNG. We're gonna get rid of some of... Yeah, we're gonna get rid of some of these. So if items stack on top of each other, the game will pick up whatever item was on the ground first. So I have to get rid of these blue things sometimes to access other items. Okay, so that should be enough for right now. Let's head out. Alright, this is the cog puzzle. It actually uses a wind mechanic. We actually have to use items to block this wind so we can get through the area with the cog. As you can see, it blows me backwards. So I'm going to be picking up these items. If I can actually throw them correctly. There we go. And I'm going to be using them to block off the path. With that, they shouldn't push me back anymore, and it allows me to go down the stairs. So this is the first part of the puzzle to activate the robot. So I'm going to run down here, and that glowing cog, I'm just going to throw this. Then we're going to go down here, and I'm going to try to be as fast as possible right here. We weren't able to get it just because I know I've been a little bit slower, but there's actually a god pattern you can get, like they call. You can get all of these platforms lined up immediately. It is super hard to get, but it allows you to jump to the third platform. I've only been able to get it twice, but it is really cool when you do get it off. Okay, with that, we have the core to the robot. We got done with the jumping puzzle. We didn't get any cash, which sucks. But we're now going to head into the area to the left. And we're going to activate the robot, giving us the path to the next boss. I wouldn't say it's the last boss, but it's the next boss. The conductor's kind of weird. He's not technically the boss as much as the minions are. Whereas the pianist is actually a boss himself. Okay, with the robot destroyed, we're going to activate Boot in a Hat. Run up here. So sadly, no good RNG with money, which means that the ending of the game, hopefully nothing too bad. I'm just trying to get to 100. We're at 80 right now. We should have already been at 100, but we just have not had the luck. Okay, let's head out. Okay, with this, now we just head into the final area. So this is the musical path up to the pianist. We're going to be fighting all of the musical enemies that I was talking about earlier. I was trying to manipulate his jump, but it didn't work. So what you can do, right there, he already hit it. I didn't expect him to do it that time. You can get him to jump and hit the bell for you. But once again, it is very hard to manipulate these guys' movements. Especially on your time frame. Oh, wow, he actually got me. We didn't lose any time, though. It just starts you right back at this area, which isn't actually bad. The boss should already be done. You just don't have much options of fighting enemies, so if you don't get really good RNG on their placements, like right there, the fox wasn't in the same area again. If you don't get good RNG, they'll just beat you up, and you don't have items to spare in this game. You're technically trying to pretty much do a pacifist run while collecting items to fight bosses with. It is very difficult. Alright, we're back here. Once again. Okay, we got it. We lost our boot in a hat, apparently, so that's not the greatest thing to happen. I don't know why the boot in the hat's gone, but it is. But we lost it in a really good area because we're already at the boss fight, so we're not going to actually need it to get back there. Okay, with the partridge, he's going to talk to us. Once again, just kind of the elephant, letting us know that we shouldn't sacrifice ourselves as we head into the boss fight. So, unlike the other ones where it's actually a minion gauntlet, in this one, there's actually a mini-boss before the actual boss, but you don't actually fight the mini-boss. You're trying to get to a set of piano keys to run across them, and it causes it to blow up. but you need to make it to that area first. So what I usually like to do is I have to wait for this platform. I'll stun him with a couple items, and then he'll try to punch me, and I'll jump off the platform so I'm out of the radius. Okay, for some reason my jump is just not aiming correctly. Alright. I could have swore that I just made it across. The jumping is not the strongest suit in this game. I will tell you that right now. Okay, so we made it past the mini-boss. Sadly, no money. Okay. And then we head into the bullet hell boss. Oh, come on. He got me. Okay, that's fine. We didn't lose any time. I said he's one of the most dangerous bosses in this game just due to his attack patterns. We're still on really good pace, all things considered. Just due to the fact that I had a lot more money than I was supposed to at that one point. Okay, perfect. So this is second phase. It's gonna destroy the plane that we're sitting on, and now what the gimmick is that we have to jump from key to key to make music happen, and sometimes, not all the time, items will spawn for us. But we gotta make sure that we don't stay on certain keys, otherwise you'll get attacked. Come on. He's playing games with me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're not having the best RNG right now, with item drops and money drops. So usually, when I get a good run, every key pretty much will drop an item, but we weren't really getting anything that time, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, so with that, I'm going to wait for the platform to come back and hopefully get some items. We got 2, and we unlocked what we call the Wraith Scream. So this allows us to turn into Wraith form and shoot these screams, I guess. We project our screams, and we move these blocks with it. There's going to be a few instances that we actually need that, especially late game. Alright, so now that that boss is done, we just have to grab a few more items and change our hair color, and then we have to grab the worm light for the partridge. So, partridge is going to talk to us, and now we're going to head back. We're going to head here. Oh, wrong one. Here. And head into the honeycomb hive. So with the honeycomb hive, we're going to continue down. And there was a path that we weren't able to take earlier because we didn't have jump. And this is going to lead us into an endgame area. But now that we have Wraith Scream, we can get down here without the fear of dying. Because there's these enemies in the dark that do double damage to you, and you don't want to die by them. There's money for later. Okay. So what I'm doing right here is I'm heading into this little classroom, and there's this thing called the Jar of Love. It allows me to turn my hair red. So the reason why turning your hair red is really important, is because it allows you to enter these mirrors that only you can enter when you have red hair, and those mirrors allow you to access this end game character called the Painter. And the painter's going to draw out all 4 of the spirits that you've liberated, and it's going to allow you to liberate yourself in a sense. So now we have red hair available. We're going to leave Light Mother, which I absolutely love Light Mother's design. I think she's just super cool. Head through the dark. Pick this up, hopefully for some money. Hopefully for some money. Oh, actually even better, we got a Titanite. Okay, so next on our journey, we need to head back to the very beginning area so we can get the worm light, and the worm light is going to be the object we have to give to the partridge. Once again, more money, but nothing. No, come on. There we go. So when I'm going, okay, well, sheep block, good sheep. So while I'm on my way to get the worm light, I'm gonna pick up. Wow, this is amazing. I'm gonna pick up 3 small items because I'm gonna need it for a pinata. Okay, I'm not gonna break any items in here except this one box for this. Otherwise, I need to keep every box available. Okay. Off to grab the worm light. I said 102 for worst case scenario. I think that's actually what it's going to be, sadly. We had a few unfortunate deaths and some really, really bad RNG this run. Okay, so we're going to grab this little guy right here. Absolutely adorable. He's a hungry boy, and we need to feed him. He needs to get fed enough food so he poops out the worm light for us, essentially, I guess, is a good way of putting it. So we have to feed him crates and sheep and pots. So we're going to lure him over to those 2, and then these 3 right here. Perfect. We're going to park, and we're just going to drag him around until he eats enough. That's the whole gimmick of this area. Go ahead. And the reason why I didn't destroy any blocks for currency is because he needs to eat them. If you come through this area and you destroy the blocks and you don't have anything to feed him, it's a huge time waste because then you have to figure out where some boxes spawn, where you can go, which I'm going to tell you right now, very, very limited options. All right, he's almost done. He's going to eat these 3 boxes. We're going to head... Come on, eat that pot. Nope. Nope, he doesn't want that pot. He's very picky. Come on, eat him. Eat the other one. Come on. You need to eat that other one, please. For the love of God, eat that other one. Nope. He's just a picky boy. There we go. Wow, I cannot believe the bad luck I just got right there. He wouldn't eat a single one of the other pots. Okay, with that done, we head into endgame. We are finally officially at endgame. We're going to head up, go talk to the partridge, as said before, give him the worm light. So, funny enough, there was a glitch that happened in this game. When I went to go give the worm to the bird, I threw the worm down, and it let me move my character like this. If you leave the screen while this flash is on your screen, it doesn't go away. It just stays on your screen forever, and it is It is the worst. And I truly mean it is the worst. Okay, let's hurry up and get this done. It's time for us to go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got a lot of time to make up for. What? I wasn't even near you. Why did you go back up the rabbit hole? What? So this, as you said, the rabbit hole, obviously you can tell when I say that the next animal is probably going to be a rabbit. You'd be very correct. We need to give a carrot to the rabbit while also defeating the conductor, which is the final boss, and he is... I like to call him cheap. He's cheap in my mind. That's all I can say about him. He spawns so many minions, and he has all of these attacks that he does at you that are all AoE. So it's really hard to dodge him and all the minions that he's spawning at the same time. Also, another Titan Eye. That's one good RNG factor we've had this whole run is the Titan Eye spawning. Alright, we have one more path to open up, and then we're at the final boss. Alright, we're going to head this way, go down this ladder. So this is the rabbit right here. We get to finally meet him. We don't get to talk much to him. He just kind of tells us the same thing as the other ones do. It's not our war to be fighting, but we're here anyways. I'm only heading up this path because it leads to one of the stone heads that I actually need to move to get into the final boss. Perfect. Let's not get stuck on mushrooms. Stop getting stuck on mushrooms. Whoa, they were spawn camping the ladder. They're waiting. They were waiting for me. So good there's no monsters in this area. Okay, here we go. I could probably defeat the final boss in like maybe under a minute if I have enough Titan Eye. We'll see how it goes. So the rabbit takes care of the fake conductor. So it's supposed to like trick you thinking that's going to be your boss fight when it's actually not. Your boss fight actually happens up here as like what they call the real conductor is revealed. Also, I'm pretty sure... Give me that money. Okay, we're good to go. We have 200, which is exactly what we need. We need to go turn our hair red real quick. And we're done. And that's the end of the game. We just got to beat the last boss. So we're going to pull this worm. He's going to open up this little pathway that's going to actually lead us into the laboratory. We're going to come out this way. And now we're just going to craft a bunch of Titan Eye. Okay. We have all of our final weapons. We are fully prepared. As I said, I think that death actually helped in the long run, just due to the fact that it allowed us to have more Titan Eye at a stage that we weren't supposed to have them because of all the money. Alright, so we're going to head back up to this tower. We're going to turn off our blue hair, turn on our red hair. You know, if only it was that easy to dye your hair, you just click on a light switch and bam, your hair's a whole different color. Okay, final game. I mean, final area. We did it. I hope. I hope this boss fight goes really well. As I said, it is a very cheap boss fight. All right, here we go. Okay, we're gonna wait. Also, throwing these items is a lot harder than it looks. Okay, this is where stuff starts getting a little chaotic. Oh my goodness, we did it. We did it. Boss is done. We have our red hair. We've liberated everything except the rabbit, but by defeating the final boss, we liberate the rabbit's soul. So that's supposed to be a hint where it says we need you red. It's supposed to lead you into this final room where when you look into the mirror, you see that Lila actually has red hair, and it's supposed to lead you on the journey on trying to figure out how you're supposed to unlock the red hair. Okay, boss is done. We're gonna head down this ladder if I don't get stuck on more mushrooms. And we're gonna throw this carrot at the rabbit, because that's all this rabbit wants. Alright, with all 4 spirit animals liberated, with all bosses defeated, with our hair turned red, with over probably 100 different Titan I used in all these battles, we officially hit the final part of the game where we talk to the painter, where we finally get to say goodbye to all of our tragedy. So he's going to draw the monkey, the elephant, the partridge, and then the rabbit, showcasing the order that you liberated them in. And then he's going to open a portal in front of us that we're going to step into. And it's going to be kind of our way of letting go. So to kind of explain a little bit of the story without giving any kind of spoilers, now that we're kind of at an area where it's not going to make sense unless you kind of know what's going on. Lila's mom passed away, and her dad made her write letters to come to terms with her mother's passing. And with that, she fell into like this really bad spot in her life, and this is her way of being liberated of all of that. She found peace in her mind. There's notes that you find in the game that kind of explain the story a little bit more. So that's kind of why it's really vague on how I'm explaining this. So we went a little over the 102 estimate. I see that right now, but we're at the very end. Like another 30 seconds. It's such a trippy ending. Like, if you have no idea what's going on in the story, she's just getting attacked by these skulls at the end, and then she splits into like a bunch of herselves. Things are breaking on the screen. It's just a huge metaphor of depression. So timer's coming up in a minute. We just got to climb up the 4 animals, and then the game's done. Doesn't take that long. Okay, so at the very end, after your soul has been liberated, the animals come down to lift you up to finally set you free. They're going to take you up to the highest point, and then the partridge is going to fly you away. as a showcase for your freedom. Up we go. Next, we talk to the rabbit, who's going to lead us all the way to the top. And then we climb a ladder to the very end. All right. 3, 2, 1, time. Sorry, that went a little overestimate. We had some really, really unforeseen deaths and some really bad RNG. Thank you all for being here for this. This was completely routed single-handedly by me. There is no other runners. I just liked the game a lot. And so I think the actual world record, I haven't looked at my time in a minute. It's like a 54, 55, it's something like that. The game is really fun. It's a good indie with a lot of good Metroidvania aspects. If you go through and actually get the upgrades and go through the map, it's a lot of fun. But with that, I'm all done. I will get ready for my next run. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you again, Tora. I really appreciate all of this.